Hello, and welcome to Slow English with Kelsey. Today, I would like to talk about something that I think is a very American concept, the concept of long car rides being very normal. Let me explain. I love to travel, and I've been very lucky to travel around the world. I've talked to people in different countries, and outside of the United States, the idea of a 6 hour car ride is a pretty extreme trip. But in the United States, it's very, very normal. I think this is because the United States is so geographically large compared to other countries, and it has a pretty bad public transportation system to get between different states. Not only is public transportation in the United States not very good, but also flights in the United States are not super cheap. It's actually cheaper to fly between Italy and Greece than it is to fly from the east coast of the United States to the west coast of the United States. These prices, I believe, have limited the accessibility of airline travel for many people within the United States. So driving has become the most effective mode of transportation and accessible mode of transportation for many. There are very solid highway systems in the United States. So that is why this mode of travel in cars has become so popular there. So, the United States, when someone goes on a 6 hour car ride to go on a 4 day trip for the weekend, that's normal. I know for many of you, that would sound like an extreme trip. And 6 hours for many people is just the start of it. I know people who easily go on 10-hour car rides to go on a trip. For me, that's way too much. For me, my max or the maximum amount of time, my max, as I was saying before, is a way to say that. My max is 4 hours in the car before I start to get inside. But for many people, 4 hours is just the start in the United States. To give you a perspective on time in the car, it can take over 24 hours to get between the East Coast and the West Coast. That's how large the United States is. Now, I must say, it's not normal to hear about somebody driving 24 hours. It's very normal to hear about somebody driving 12. I lived in the New York City region of the United States, and over there is an exception because public transportation there is quite good. There's subways, which is the New York City way to say metro, and there are trains that connect different states with New York City. It is very fun to have public transportation, as I'm sure many of you know, because it makes mobility in a city that much easier. The second largest city in the United States, Los Angeles, in California, it has horrible public transportation. In fact, you pretty much cannot live there without having a car. If you do live there without a car, it will be very difficult. I know because I did it for a little bit. I didn't have a car for a little bit of time when I lived there, and I had to use Uber to go everywhere. There just isn't good public transportation there. There's a lot of highways, though, and a lot of traffic. A trip that takes 20 minutes when there's no traffic can easily take over an hour when there is traffic. Sometimes an hour and 20 minutes, or maybe even more. If you don't have a car in Los Angeles, you cannot count on being able to walk places either. There just isn't the infrastructure in that city to be able to walk everywhere. Furthermore, it wouldn't even be safe because the city was designed around highway travel. Highways are the big roadways for cars. And it's not safe to walk along the side of a 4-lane highway. Lanes are the strips where the cars travel on a highway. So you need a car. That's pretty much the story in most places, almost every place in the United States. Yes, there are some exceptions, but not many. I think this is a very unique way of a country being designed. I know many countries were designed around the ability to walk places. The United States, not so much. I think it's because it's a relatively new country that was designed alongside cars. Well, I personally prefer cities with infrastructure for walking and public transportation. But I'm just telling you the truth of how the United States is. And for these reasons, a 6-hour car ride in the United States is very normal. It's because people there have gotten so used to being in their cars to get from point A to point B. Let me know in the comments if this has any similarity to where you're from, and if car travel is normal or if car travel is not normal at all. Please like this video and subscribe for more content to help you learn English. I want you to know you're doing an amazing thing learning a new language, and I'm so happy that I get to be here to help you learn English. Congratulations on doing such an amazing job. And until next time, peace.